Same thing. Charleston White don't want to sit in front of me. He's a liar. A fake. This nigga fake as Milli Vanilli. Man, that nigga got something wrong with him around children. I think that nigga's a fake. What's up, to Miles James. And Miles James say, hey, look, nephew, even though me and your daddy don't get along, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus and send him to jail.
Welcome back to Wild Moguls TV. We got Melvin Farmer. We're here today to talk about your journey at the Keefe D trial. Question one, why did you travel to Las Vegas for the Keefe D proceedings?
Well, first I want everybody to know that I was there on assignment as a journalist. In fact, I was there on assignment for Wild Moguls TV, as well as other syndicated columnists and whether it was audio, video, print, and other agencies as a journalist. I was paid to interview the people that I did interview and going back to interview others later on, such as when Suge Knight come and as well as Tupac family as a journalist. So I was there on assignment.
So now, what separates your coverage from everybody else commentating online?
Well, first of all, if we go by the facts, wasn't nobody in court. So you never would get the firsthand reports to where I'm giving you firsthand news, like, for instance, why Mob James and Reggie Wright were hostile witnesses as opposed to somebody that could take the fifth. I also talked to Keefe D people. In fact, I know and have had relationships with everybody involved in this murder case. Tupac, the hip hop world, Keefe D when I did Who Killed Biggie Small, Tupac documentary. Back then, I know Mob James and all them Death Row when they were in their heydays and watched them grow through being in the game with Michael Conception. So my inside knowledge and ability to have access were nothing but journalists was, for instance, uh, people should be thinking or listening to what I'm saying because there wasn't but two black journalists in there, and I'm quite sure everybody on social media not reading or looking at the other ones there. So I had inside information that most people wouldn't get. For instance, what was the conversation with Keefe D's son and Mob James? SKG, the girl that had testified area, Trayvon, the police, not just them. I know about Keaton, Dupree, the guy that took the picture, Williams, already from back then. So a lot of this is regurgitated information that I've already been privileged to. So I got a second chance to look at it and examine it from a different point of view.
So now, is there any some things that you can uh talk about that were some more inside things that you heard from the courthouse that people wouldn't normally hear?
Well, I have a picture of Keefe D and Mob James talking, and I can give you verbatim what was said because Keefe D's son, Lil Keefe, you'd be able to show the photograph, walked up. It was 4 o'clock. Bob James had already testified, and he walked up to him and said, uh, "What's up, Unc?" to Mob James. And Ma James say, hey, look, nephew, uh, even though me and your daddy don't get along, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus and send him to jail. Then he say, tell your mother, family, and sisters and brothers and you, I love y'all. And then Keefe D say, no matter what, you'll always be uncle to me. And he say, They talked a little bit, then he turned to me and he asked with hope in his eyes. He said, "What it look like, with my daddy case? Do he got a chance?" I say, "So far, it looked pretty good." Then Mob James interrupted and he said, "You know what? Your daddy needs you more than us. Go upstairs and make your daddy proud." And that's when he went upstairs. Also, I had the privilege to be in the back with Reggie Wright, and the reason he called, I hear him talking about, he called Keefe D a crackhead. So me and Mob James looking at the screen, and when he called him a crackhead, he said he only said that because of the fact that Keefe D had been talking about Reggie Wright's father in a negative way. So that was his way of getting back, and that was that. Then also I was working with a lady with ABC News where I set it up. You seen it on CNN and other ones. So I was doing other assignments also. But these are the type of things like they explain the difference between a hostile witness that came where they didn't. I can tell you about the process where you had to go write your name on a little card, then you'll be in a lottery, or they're gonna ask you, are you press or the public? But I knew I could get in because I'm walking in with them, and then it's a room you go to with nothing but prosecutors, law enforcement's guarding it, and you can smoke on the patio. So I'm sitting in there prior to them even going on the stand, just getting to listen. So these are the type of things. But also I can as a journalist and a courtroom reporter, where if I'm reporting what I hear or see, I also talk to the press and they ask me my opinions on what I think legally what happened in court. Like, do you see anything that would point to him being found guilty? And I say no. I don't see no newly discovered evidence other than him saying something that can't be corroborated by nobody.
So now, despite what online is saying that Mob James is a rat or he's on the stand snitching and all this situation, can you let the people know that he was a hostile witness and he
Well,
was
not only that, you can't pick and choose what villains are snitches. Charleston White is snitch. You look at him, everything go for everybody. So the snitching ain't got nothing to do with it. Let's just look at what he said on the court. Because the only way I think Keefe D is going to be found guilty is if somebody can put him in Vegas. That's it. That's all. Right now, when they asked him, uh, 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 did he see Keefe D in Vegas? I don't hear nothing. His son thanked him for not saying it. That's the key thing. Fuck, what y'all forget about? Oh, it's a whole lot of snitching.
now what was the main purpose for the prosecution to bring Mob James as a witness? What were they trying to get out
It
of him?
ain't but one question that mattered. You seen it was shortened to the point. Did you see Keefe there prior to that? That's it.
That's it.
That's all. Now, that's it. Now, you hear Suge Knight saying all kind of stuff for sound bites and likes, but I'm going to cut right to the spike. I bet you Suge Knight, and I'm just predicting from sitting in these courtrooms all my life, he's going to be the last one to go. Why? Because he's the only one left alive in the car when Tupac got shot. They're not going to put him up here now to where you'll forget about it and look at them pictures of who's dead, the victim. I don't have to say his name. That's where we get the game messed up too. As a journalist, all you're seeking is information documented to present as facts, not no UFO sightings. Do I believe he dead or not? So I can pretty much predict. And he ain't gonna have no say so in whether he come or not. They got him in prison. They're gonna bring him down at the end, and they're gonna present them pictures and ask him, do he remember this night? And they're gonna put them pictures up, and you won't see them. The jury will, and they're gonna remember that there's somebody, child, laying on that slab dead. And does he get justice? So, as a unbiased urban analyst, it's what I am. Unbiased urban analyst. It's my job to report about the suspect, victim, and witness. That's what's going on the police report. So now you hear the stories from somebody was there and you want to debate. I'm not even debating. I'm only going by the facts. But why ain't nobody got me on their shows instead of commentators? They once again speculate. I am a bona fide journalist, have been for over 25 years, where I write newspaper columns for this very exact thing. And it's called the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. And then let the process be. I ain't making no loud noise. Everybody else hooping and hollering. But you wasn't in Vegas.
So
I
now,
was.
so now you said Keefe D's son thanked Mob James for his testimony. Can you
Hmm?
explain?
Yeah. He said the main thing they wanted Reggie Wright or them to ask. They ain't asking everybody did they see Keefe D that night. They ain't asked Williams who took the picture. Did you see Keefe D? Nope, they ain't asked him. They ain't asked the two women in front in the car. Did you see Keefe D? That mean they think they seen them two right there. Either they have some information that they seen them, or they know that they had a chance of seeing them. And they didn't answer the question. They didn't answer it, period.
And Reggie White didn't answer it either.
Show me where it says that they say they seen them. But they sure asked them.
Yep.
That's a hostile witness. But they don't have to take the fifth because they wasn't actually at the scene of the crime. So it's nothing they can say other than speculation because they wasn't there. So they don't have to take the fifth. When Suge come, he got to be real careful because he can say something to implement his ass because he was at the scene of the event and he could incriminate himself. He can take the fifth.
Now, wasn't Reggie White at one time a suspect on the Tupac murder?
Well, since I ain't never looked at it as far as the investigation, I've heard it and seen now that he was a suspect. But to me, it's kind of hard keeping a secret a secret. 30 years, nobody arrests. And you're looking at all these major agencies. These are the best of the best at tracking.
Mm-hmm.
They bloodhounds. They have no real factual basis. And if you just cut it to the skin, you can, uh, 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 how would you say it? Assume, theorize that that could happen. Just like people say, Tupac's still alive. But when you're in that courtroom and seeing on that slab or ask his parents, you wouldn't dare ask them that. You wouldn't. You wouldn't dare ask them, I think your son is still alive. Because you'll see the hurt in their eyes. That's what y'all don't see, the hurt. Y'all see the glamour. You ain't sitting in the courtroom. So why do I have to sit and justify a goddamn thing? I ain't. I ain't gonna sit on no couches where a nigga sit up here, fake ass shit, talking this and that, when I'm just giving information. Now you can take it, run with it. But I don't even look at nothing on the internet. I ain't looked in 5 years. But people will want to try to twist words when I understand the content. If you want to say, well, he's not right here, wrong there, but don't take it personal and don't make it personal.
So from your analyzation of the facts, what does it look like killed Tupac from your perspective? Or killed the victim, I should say.
It don't matter, Tupac, unsolved murder. There's more than just rappers I know about unsolved. You got Raymond Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And Reggie Wright asked me that question on Bond One after he got out. When I opened the show after he got out from prison. And he asked me about Raymond Washington death, unsolved. Now that's 1979, August 9th. Same day I got arrested for a jury show. And I sat there 5 minutes quietly that I could do right now with the same question about Tupac. And then he said, I don't hear nothing. That's my answer. Now, let's go to Tupac murder. I ain't gonna give you an opinion. That's my answer.
Okay.
Oh, no, let me add something else about who you think in a murder. I've been around numerous internal, external killings, gang shit all my life. And one thing that always happens, especially when you get to be older and still sitting there where you're watching it go on, and it might do you a little dirt. But when somebody get killed and you from that tribe, and it's a drive-by, they don't really know who did it. And you'll hear all kind of sets. This set did it, that set did it, this set did it. But at the end of the day, it's more likely than not a black killed another black. But I say that to say the same thing go on with Tupac. You can name 1,000,000 people, but we can assume, to me, after being an unbiased analyst, where I don't put a title, Crip, Blood, none of that. I just look at a young man, lost his life. I look at a family grieving. I look at it like a man on trial for his life. Is he getting his fair equal rights in court? Are the victims getting their equal rights? And are the suspects and the witnesses telling the truth? That's all I look at, the truth. What's said on that witness stand. I'm not going to come back and give you an ambiguous question or something that'll get sound bites for lights and say, "Hell, somebody did it." No, I ain't gonna mention nobody's name, and you ain't right. Let the facts play out. You're gonna see. And right now, I don't see nothing that they brought, because to get back in court to file charges, that means they have newly discovered evidence. It have to be newly discovered. And the only thing that don't change, that's why everybody is saying we've heard this before. The only ones that ain't heard this news is the Uber Eats generation. That's the generation that think Ice-T's only an actor. I mean, that's where they start at. NYPD. They don't even know hip hop that he been around. So we educate them to where you can see them asking the same questions that were going on back when it first happened. You're really getting a chance to see how people didn't know what happened responded. The same thing was going on. But we're getting it in real life time, the murders. So we actually know the atmosphere now. So I understand the fever, the talk. Same thing, suspicion. But now going back from then, seeing what I got now, I see or hear nothing that's changed other than him saying he did it. I mean, that ain't gonna hold up.
Hold 1 second, got it. I've always been very curious. Charleston White always bring up your name. He was at the Nipsey funeral. What did you see in Charleston White, and what was he before all this internet stuff?
Well, first of all, I don't look at the internet, which you know. So this is the first time anybody even asked me about Charleston White, because I don't do podcasting. But just like when I met you, I didn't know you, but what am I trying to do? Help you.
That part.
I'm sitting here for free. When I met you, everything I ain't asked you for a dime. I said that what can I do to make you shine? He came from Texas to St. Andrews Park, and I got the video, which you can confirm later. When he was called Nat Turner, I didn't know him. He came to me, hey man, you the only one that don't brag on the internet about gangbanging. I think your voice should be heard. Well, I want to manage you. So I don't met a lot of people. I can say, for instance, they come up to St. Andrews Park. I won't name his name, and they came with the purpose of trying to get a connection for drugs. They gave me their number. I never called because I don't do that shit. Their phones could be hot. And sure enough, the phone was hot and 30, 40 people got indicted behind this dude doing 100 days, 100 nights. So I meet a lot of people that come to the land uh, just to come up there to say they official or whatever. And that was the case with him. And so he said, "Oh man, I'm coming from Texas, and I just wanted to meet you. I wanted to manage you because you can reach back to the children with your history and have them. You got to have a seat at the table to stop the violence." This is when he's talking about Turkey. In fact, I got videos, and he was wearing overalls, a cowboy hat, boots, and he was staying over by the Denver line. So then he was telling me he had been to jail for murder. He didn't say he was a snitch at this time. He said he been to jail for murder, telling me his history. He don't gang bang, this and that. So he said trying to out here where something was going on in Texas, but basically he was starting over. So I say, "Oh man, you ain't got no record?" He said, "No." And in my mind, I'm saying, "How you just said you've been convicted of murder, but you ain't got no record?" And so I get skeptical right there. But I say, "Hey man, you probably can get a job. You ain't got a record." And sure enough, he got a job. And if the uh, page wasn't took down, because he took it down, you'd have seen when it started getting a job, where he says it's easy to get a job. Then he used to walk up to, we got a shopping area where he'll walk from Vermont and Imperial all the way up to Imperial and Crenshaw, where it's in Burlington. And I say, "Hey man, that's a dangerous trip. You're going through a lot of sets. And you're spending money where you could go downtown." That's when he started selling bags and shit knocks off in Zone 6 with the old man he used to be with. Then he wasn't gang banging or none of that shit like he say. He just a nigga. In fact, I only took him as far as the park. That was the beginning. Then Nipsey Hussle got killed. He was there when I got the call from the 60s. Uh, he was there when Babalu, Barefoot Pookie, Pete Winbush, and all us meeting about stopping the chatter on the internet that could fuck around and start some shit by saying the wrong person killed him. That's what in fact, he took a picture of us. Then because he just put a picture up of Babalu like him and Babalu was cool. I was staying over Babalu because a murder had happened between two sets of bloods, but they blamed it on the gangster Crips because they ran through where we were at and they put me under surveillance. That's why I was staying there, but he didn't know it. And this is when he'll say, uh, uh, "I met Babalu and all this." Then he flew Babalu. How he met Babalu when I'm in Texas. Prior to that, I'm down there with my partner. Uh, I noticed that these are bloods. And so don't forget, he's not gangbanging. He said, "Melvin, these are blood." I say, "Oh man, I can call Babalu right now to where y'all can get the history and talk to somebody that been a blood." That's how they met Babalu. I was over the same house in Dallas, Texas. Then after that, Tookie anniversary is coming up. Every year I do something for Tookie with Alex Alonso. I got that video. And he's sitting next to me, and he ain't talking bad about Tookie now. Then he started trying to, hey man, me and her name is, uh, what's her name? She's a track star, Althea Moses. She won the Olympics back in 1990 in Atlanta. He meet her through me. And we was working with children where it was a grant. Reggie Jones Sawyer had $113 million grant. And me and Althea and Charleston White wrote a proposal because I'm connected where I can get you money. I work with the people here. So Althea Moses put it in up under her name. And so we didn't get the money because they say somebody on our grant didn't clear to be around children. In hindsight, it was Charleston White. We would have got the money. But on the internet, because he know it was him, he said, oh, Althea Moses said, don't work with Melvin. That's a lie. In fact, I'm going to talk to children in Florida next week with the mayor and do it all every month. I go around all week or feed the homeless. So all that was a lie. Then he got robbed in LA. And before that, I had slapped him for running his mouth, huffing and puffing also. Now, when we go to Boss Talk, when I met Boss Talk, where he told Boss Talk, hey man, when you go to LA, you don't need to talk to Big U, none of them. Talk to Melvin. That's how I met Boss Talk. But I also told Boss Talk, man, that nigga got something wrong with him around children. I think that nigga's a pedophile. This 5, 6 years ago.
Uh-oh.
Asked him. I said, I'm telling you, Mob James told y'all, hey man, something wrong. It's a whole, you just heard yourself. A lawyer that said that, what did he tell you? You tell him what you heard. What you told. What'd he say? He under investigation for what? Let me flip it right quick and interview you now.
Yeah, it
What
was.
did he say?
He heard the
No.
school.
He was in a conversation
Yeah.
where Charleston White is under investigation
Investigation.
for child molestation at an elementary school.
School. Yep.
Is that what you heard?
Yes. Yes. I heard.
Out of lawyer's mouth.
Yep.
So, it ain't what I'm saying. You remember one time he said, fuck what I'm saying, watch what I'm doing. I ain't saying shit, watch what I'm doing. Black ink plus white paper gonna get some goddamn results. Now, then he went and tried to smear somebody's name. Nigga, he ain't goofy. He ain't want to sit on this couch with me. Anybody. Why Vlad TV? Why nobody got me on here to say this but you? Because the truth can't exist with a lie. Imagine this nigga always been a pedophile, and how many of y'all don't supported a pedophile and ignored the truth. That's pitiful. It's a disgrace.
Yep. I mean, for the platform, we have to say allegedly, but I did hear what I hear, and
And you don't forget the paperwork.
I did see some paperwork.
That means audio, video, and print. Don't forget the audio you heard with the lady saying that happened. The lady work at the school.
Yep.
So that's 3 forms that I have actual documentation: audio, video, and print. Now, what you gonna do with that information? I'm saying he's an unregistered alleged pedophile, and you've been warned. Now you should go and investigate your goddamn self instead of speculating.
Is this where y'all relationship went south, or
It ain't never went south. I'm a predator. I'm a robber. I'm a jacker. I never hate nobody. He ain't did nothing to me. But what he did do was mention my name in vain, told a lie, called the police. make it to where I can't get no money, which I wouldn't want to. But all my pages have been taken down to where allegedly, I'm going to say pretty much he called in and complained. So the algorithm, he'll have their little staff and crew writing bad comments, but they won't sit in front of me. Last time I checked, the only reason we was on Boss Talk because Marv and I told him Marv wanted to go on there and talk to him, not because I wanted. And he walked out. Walked out. Like
Well,
no mods. When it was time for me, because I'm gonna say the same thing. Charleston White don't want to sit in front of me. He's a liar.
huh.
A fake. This nigga fake is Milli Vanilli. Tell me, what exactly is his thing? He ain't helping no children. Nigga, I've been in gang intervention since it started. He ain't produced no movie. I got one called Put the Guns Down, the World Epidemic. He ain't wrote a book. I'm the author of the New Slave Ship, Three Strikes You're In, Not Out. He ain't been a part of hip hop from the beginning. I'm a member of Grand Jury Records with Michael Conception that started with Teddy Riley, that went to Russell Simmons, that went to Jimmy Iovine. You ain't never been the one sports player in the city as a kid. I didn't read a book to join no goddamn gang. I ain't up here bragging about a gang. I'm trying to save a life, not take a life. So, and y'all cheerleading for a mirage? Get out of here. I wouldn't even waste my time with that bullshit. They at their ceilings. Podcasters, unregulated, where they get these verbal gymnastic, fake ass beefs against each other, anti-black. How's a motherfucker talking about he raped his a goddamn role model? Get the shit out of here. And the ones that know, you don't think his mama knew this happened in 98? I mean, that bitch lied. You can leave that in there. See, since y'all want to get attention, that bunk bitch should be the worst bitch in the world mother ever in the history. A motherfucker that been raping children and she didn't cover up and got on there and act like she didn't know. Dewberry didn't know. The lawyer you just talked to ain't said nothing about it, but he sure told you on that phone. But what do y'all do about it? If a woman, a little girl, can say she's scarred by a man that bragged about raping children, now the person he raped come forward, and you don't think her rights matter? That's where we separate true humanitarian efforts. I think her voice mattered. Just like when Charleston White came, and he was a solid nigga. He could have said he was a snitch. I know, oh, everybody knows snitching. Got to get the difference between a snitch and a rat. A snitch is one that says, ooh, I'm telling. I'm going to tell this. I'm going to tell that. Oh, I see him out there breaking into a car. Let me call the police and tell him. A rat gets on the stand after he's broken the law and then testify for the prosecution to get those that were committing the crime with him time and he get away. That's not how the game goes. Now y'all talking about Keefe D gave so and so the gun. I heard that everybody 50% say that make him guilty, correct? Ain't that what they said? If he gave him the gun, a lot of people saying that make him guilty. Now Charleston White gave the boys that been in jail 35 years the gun. Y'all ain't saying where did they? Now he raped a girl, allegedly. He ain't suffered the consequences. Then he want to say, I'm a help who that boy that got killed? Carmelo, whatever his name, Anthony. He said he'll put up for his appeal, but he ain't help appeal the niggas that's been in jail 35 years that he snitched on. In fact, he go to their hearing and tell them to keep him. And this y'all hero. Put him in front of me. I bet you don't. That's anybody, the academics, particularly bitch ass Vlad TV. This bitch mad because I don't play the game, and I'm gonna call him a bitch, and we'll tell him in his face. And he can take my number 760-575-6848, or anybody give it to him. Cause he know what the fuck he did. Why would you bring a motherfucker to LA and sneak him in to talk about niggas here when you can bring him where me and him get on the mic? Bitch niggas do that. That's one-sided and unfair. And then he know he might be up on the investigation as a rapist, but he don't give a fuck because it ain't his race. Fuck him. Well, you niggas, I'm with Bootsy on this, go on a white motherfucking Russian bearded motherfucker show to talk about blacks to another race. Get the fuck out of here. That ain't cool, young man. Keep our shit away. Them racists don't give a fuck. Every motherfucker go on there end up getting indicted. Right now they talking about Keefe D in court behind Vlad TV. And Hefe, no jump.
Yeah.
Mumbles. Quit man.
I heard Vlad paid Keefe D 150,000 for his interview.
Don't matter. Black exploitation.
At his finest.
Y'all watching black exploitation. I've seen it in the 70s. That's the formula. Drugs, sex, and violence. And if you notice, uh, mainstream media not even reporting this. I was in the court, in the building. It ain't that much going on. And this is what I'm talking about as far as back to what's important. A journalist's job is to take out what is most important as a whole to the community. Let me give you a good example. Drugs, sex. When they talk about Big U on podcasts, it's murder, drugs, killing, conspiracy. When the media, NBC, ABC, and the alphabets talk about them, they talk about the money that was stolen from the taxpayer. That affect the community more. Where did he get the money? Why was it misused? It cost us and how much? Because you got, if that's just 1 year, what about the other 15, 10 years he was getting the same shit? See how deeper that goes? That means some elected official been giving Big U money, and they had to know. That's what a journalist would talk about, mainstream and what actually affects the public as a whole. You watch it, NBC. You from down here? I'll be in court with Big U. I've been in court with Lil Dirt. And now watch the difference also, and we're giving you news before it's news right here on the Wild Moguls TV. Uh, Watch the difference in the strictness and the professionalism of a federal trial, where there ain't gonna be no cameras, you're gonna get sketches, and a state trial where it's the hoopla, the in camera, and it's broadcast. You're gonna see a more sterner, direct prosecution case to where you're going to know this is a formidable opponent, the FBI and the federal government. They have all the resources and tools, like, for instance, they had international financial trackers for money laundering on Big U. He didn't get just arrested for a local state case. He had one of the top federal international money launderers that is prosecuting Big U for them charges. Then you got the case, I remember, where you had a different set, and that was called the fleecing. That's when I guess him and Aaron Bond and them was using the crooked game of dice or whatever. That was fleecing. And once again, I cannot be bragging, but I was also in court when Big U was arraigned, to where I seen everybody, including the Mexicans that were indicted, that's never been back to court because they didn't have nothing to do with it. But I also sat with Big U's father, his sons, his wife, and everybody else, including the one, his son, little draws that would end up getting killed later. So you see, once again, I have personal interaction with the very people that they be talking about on the internet. So I have to look at things a little bit different because a lot of times I know their mothers, their fathers. I'm in a church where everybody there is Big U, cousins, aunties, sisters, not only him, basically the whole church rolling 60s. I'm from Gangster Crips, they feuding, and I got to sit here, then it might be other ones, Gangster Crips there, but they going toward, it's a sanctuary really, that's the River of Life ministry, which I'm a prison ministry coordinator. So that's what goes on in my life, and you have to balance it. Like when I just went with down there to the Wayne Davis murder trial. I didn't go there as no uh, friend or anybody. I went there as an unbiased urban analyst, which I was paid to do, like I said before, to where it's just to ask who, what, when, where, and why. That's it. The
So,
5W.
can you talk about how did you initially get involved into this whole Tupac case?
I've been around Tupac before he was in the case. I knew Tupac back when he was in one era, is when he was messing with Jada Pickett, when, you know, we getting hip hop magazines, and Tupac just coming out. He didn't live to get that old. So when Tupac came out, I've seen Tupac and every other one come out to where at this time he was going to school in Baltimore with
Jada Pinkett?
mhm. Then he went to Carl Canai, where you got an old picture way in on Inglewood, La Brea, in Manchester. That used to be a shop where Carl Canai had his brand in there. And back then, that's where we went to get Carl Canai shit at, right on La Brea, Manchester. So people have to remember I'm not only guessing, I'm a historian. I can tell the era. And before that, when we had Humpty from Digital Underground with Michael Conception and Grand Jury Records, with We All in the Same Game, you had Humpty on there. Tupac was with him then as a background singer when he came in talking about I Get Around.
Yeah.
Tupac been around. MC Hammer. So then when the situation started getting with the East Coast and the West Coast and all that shit with Snoop, Death Row Records, Snoop Don't Had His Murder, the Rolling 60. People got to understand that at this time now, the gangs are starting to be in control of entertainment. Until Biggie got killed, the Nation of Islam was the thing, and particularly Big Cap. That was Farrakhan's right-hand man. If you remember, they had a Muslim as a suspect in killing Biggie in the Impala.
Yeah.
And I'm just going by visualizing what I knew back then and what I'm seeing now going on when I see in court. So I can put the two going back then to now. And it adds up. It makes sense. So I was there when that happened. And then at that time, Biggie was making a song called Coming Back to Cali, Cali, Cali. And in LA, they was saying to get killed, to get killed, to get killed. It was real gangbanging. It's what was going on here. Then the next thing we had was we did BET from Banging the Platinum. Dub C, Warren G, Lil Jon, Pastor Troy, Kim Whitley, Lee, he's a Republican candidate. Larry Elder used to host the Larry Elder show, and the name of the show was From Banging the Platinum. And Lil Jon, then we all in the red room. You got real Crips from the 30s, the 40s. In fact, I'm there with Lil Monster Cody. They don't pick us up at St. Andrews Park. This when the studio was in Burbank. That's where BET studio was at in Burbank. So they pick us all up and we ride down there. You got Domino's from Harlem. He was there. That's in jail now. And later on in life, he'll be bodyguarding Tyrese when they were pressing his ass in this game. And he was down there. You had Lefty and Harlem. And so the name of the show was Banging the Platinum. Dub C went on there. And they asked him, are you a gang member or a gang banger? He said, no, I'm a gang member where I'm a gang member. I represent 111. That's what it's three braids for, 111. Because you ever been to one of their funerals, one of their traditions is they going to throw three $1 bills and a blue rag in that casket when one of them land on their back. You got several traditions. Then you had little Pastor Troy and little John. He hadn't even been known, but I see him sitting segregated. And I walk up to him and Bopty Bam, who are you? I didn't know who they were. And I say, oh man, come on, let me introduce you to everybody and shit. This is like 2000, 2001. Also at that time, I was working with Kathy Hughes, that's TV1, when I was hosting radio shows and television during the Mid-Atlantic March in Washington, D.C. I was staying there then, touring the black colleges, speaking at the black colleges, at the classes, Black History and all that. But I also was doing working with the death penalty focus. That's a think tank in Washington, D.C., where we talk about the death penalty. I was down there when the D.C. Sniper jail van. I was there when Prince Jones, that's the Howard University student, was killed by police in Four Corner, Manassas. I did the Amadou Diallo, that's the boy that got killed in New York. I did the Death Row 10 in Chicago where they got a moratorium. I did Sharice Iverson, that's the girl that got shot 19 times when I was with what was that? The Taisha Miller steering committee with they nephew. Then I did Sharice Iverson, that's the girl that was slain by Jeremy Strohmeyer in the bathroom at the Prima Donna. Her mother name is I used to talk, her mother is I grew up with. I got a picture of her. Then what else? I did Margaret Laverne Mitchell. That's the homeless lady shot by police over a shopping cart. I was part of the Margaret Laverne Mitchell Coalition. I got Suge 75,000 when I did the Who Killed Biggie Small Tupac murder later on in 2020 Fox special. Keefe D with his crazy ass. I only offered Keefe D 40, 30,000. Because if whatever I can get him lower for, I could keep it. So I knew I wasn't going to get Suge. He ended up getting 75. And by the way, this is the most watched documentary when it comes to this subject. I was there with LA Gangs Unite with Big U. I did Love and Hip Hop Hollywood with Yo Yo and Apple Watts. Shout out to my girl Apple Watts. I know her daddy, and she got in an accident after that. Just right after that. So it's a lot of things I've been doing. Like you read about articles in the LA Times.
Yeah.
I'm also written a law where we attacked the California Three Strikes Law with Valerie Monroe, the NAACP, where I've actually written an initiative that we had on the ballot, which is called the California 2000 Three Strikes Initiative. And I'm with Gloves Up, Guns Down. That's a mixed martial youth organization. I'm with Save the Black Village. That's an organization where we talk with foster children. I also vet them to make sure predators ain't around. So I can go on and on with a resume of things I did.
Yeah.
But what's important is I did it then. I've been in the first gang intervention program with Rosie Gribb, 1976, called a long table. You get $50 a week, $25 a session, twice a week, 2 hours, that's 4 hours. No police involvement, pudding, tam, bodacious, all of them. You had to only have 2 members from each set. Raymond Washington just getting out. So a lot of times they're shutting down real history of what this stuff really is by setting my voice. You ain't gonna hear me sitting up here in black. I don't have to do no retakes. I don't have to brag about it. I just tell you what it is, and you can go on and make your own opinions. Simple as that. And I don't hate nobody out here, but one thing I'm not gonna let happen is where a man can be accused of being a pedophile or then lie, and all you gotta do is sit him in front of me. All you gotta do is say I lied, and all them niggas lied. Don't forget when I said he was a snitch, all of them tried to smear me, but he end up being what? A snitch.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't say they lied on Melvin. You can't assassinate me because I don't need the internet. You can't cancel me. You can't cancel this nigga fit to be held accountable for raping that girl. Now, you can sit up here and say whatever. I don't care. But we can continue on to whatever we doing and what I'm doing. I serve the homeless. See, it can always be I'm an introvert. So unless I tell you what I'm doing, you ain't gonna know.
Yeah.
It ain't bragging. You can't interview because you don't know what to ask me. You don't know I was the #1 basketball player. You didn't know I was an author. Don't have to. When you're out here serving the people and doing something to give back to the community, Mob James said it, Keefe D said it. When you really did some shit that could hurt your community, you don't have time to talk about it. You do what you do to repent.
When you say #1 basketball player, can you elaborate on that?
Man, I was the #1 basketball player 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 in this city at my position. They can say arguably you ain't, but I won every trophy where I grew up because you couldn't play in Inglewood. I grew up with Reggie Theus, ended up playing with the Chicago Bulls. I played with Russell Brown. His daddy ended up opening up the Black Stuntman, the #7 assist leader in the NAACP Arizona plate. I played with Ozzie Smith, a baseball player with the St. Louis Cardinals. I watched Chester Lemons, Fremont. I played with Kim Scarborough. I played with a whole lot of them that ended up playing pro. I played against Darwin Cook, Jeff Montgomery. I know Wendell Tyler. I know James Lofton. I used to catch football with him. I was an athlete.
Now, how did you meet Mob James?
I knew Mob James from back to when they came into hip hop. Period. I'm with Michael Conception. We in hip hop all the way from the beginning through him. Don't forget, I'm around Teddy Riley, Russell Simmons, and this before some of the people in our stable was Timberland, Missy Elliott, and Magoo were a trio. Then you had Blackstreet, but the #1 boys at that time was Rex and Effects, New Jack Swing. Then you'll hear Michael work from him 6 years. Then next came Russell Simmons. That's when you'll hear them talking about third base had a problem coming to LA. And they called Michael Conception. But also Teddy Riley had a case after Dr. Ray got in trouble for hitting a reporter. Remember? Dr. Dre had a case for hitting a reporter, assaulted. Next came Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley called Michael Conception. Michael Conception called me. We go to the palace. That's where Mike Tyson in his heyday, Kid and Play there. You had the Palace, Flipper Skating Ring, and you had Dance Interior on Thursday. You'll see all the stars. Mike Tyson, New Edition, Bobby Brown. Uh, 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 it was a golden era, particularly out here. And they call it being north of Wilshire or south of Wilshire. You south of Wilshire, you going into the hood. North of Wilshire, you going where you playing with the entertainment. That's how it is on our side of town. We've always been north of Wilshire. Michael Conception is climbing up the ladder. In fact, he got a Black Street sign.
So now is Mike, from my understanding, Michael Conception is a part of the original founding with like Tukey and Raymond. Was he at the park that day?
There's a lot of people that has a lot to do to founding without just saying just the Crip.
Uh-huh.
But you got the Mount Rushmores, Tukey, Mac Thomas, James Compton, and Raymond Washington.
Mhm.
Then after that, you got the body. We're the younger ones. Michael Conception had a murder at 14 of a young man named Douglas Green, which is the mayor of Inglewood, Butt's brother. I was there also to where the mayor, when I was 14, no, yeah, I just turned 15, June of 1972. My birthday, April. I was born in 57. I already don't witness the first murder that's basically been attributed to Crips. That's Robert Ballou at the Soul Train. Second dance. This one, Soul Train. This is a era when you see my book and documentary entitled Soul Train, Gang Banging, and Pop. This in 72, and they're still talking about it today.
Yeah.
And this is how the beginning of that started. Michael Conception had a murder conviction at 14. This when he was walking up Douglas Green. Him, Lavelle Prison, who would end up getting out and being convicted of some more murders, a homicide, and got the death penalty, murder robbery. So Michael Conception was a founding member before they were Crips. We always were together, but we were juvenile delinquents then, and they had cliques on the west side because we were integrating over there. Michael Conception him grew up closer to Gardena in the hundreds. I grew up on 83rd, Western 92nd, and Hoover. But to answer your question, there's a whole lot of them that was there on the west side, Michael Conception, and Tukey was married to his sister also. In fact, he got a picture of Tukey that very few got with Tukey standing in the background that would had to be taken before 79. And that picture there was probably taken in 77. So not only is he also there, he's also Tukey's brother-in-law.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, are you guys the same age, you and Conception?
Tukey
Okay.
and him born in 53.
Okay.
So in 72, they'd be 18, 19. We're 14 at the most, just turning 15.
Okay.
Nobody too much older than that, unless they already was with Tookie, Erskine, Donald Archie, Big Bob, Mouse, Cuse, uh, 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 Gary Lane, Keith Henderson, Ricky Henderson, Out to 100, Warlock, Melvin Hardy, James Compton, Mac Thomas. Those were the older ones that ran with Tookie. Jamel, uh, 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 Big Mike. Uh, 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 he also mentioned Landry Clark that people don't too much know about. Blackie, who would end up testifying against him when the murders happened. Uh, all these were Tookie's friends. Then you had the ones that got convicted of the Ballou murder, which were older than him, like Judson Baycott, uh, uh, Big Bob, that was Hawk, Ricardo Sims, that's Bub, who they picked up at the school. Sam Cunningham, who they called Cuz. And I was there when they came back, and they were talking about the murder that had happened at the Palladium, because they all had left from the older Baycott house. So I've seen them just as well as Michael Conception and everybody, East Side, West Side. But every meeting that was held early was either held at St. Andrews Park or Sportsman Park, because Raymond Washington was in prison. Raymond Washington went to prison early, 72, 73, 74, 75. Raymond Washington was in prison. Tookie had got out of Factor Brookings and moved to Compton, and people don't talk about he had 3 boys' homes where he was running boys' home as well as working for juvenile hall at that time. And that's when he got shot. So you don't hear that story. Tookie and them wasn't out gang banging and all that shit come 72 after that. He never went to jail.
Yeah.
So where the gang banging at?
Yeah. They would.
They went to robbing and the drug use and surviving, robbing and taking drugs and but they wasn't gangbanging. They still were who they were, but they wasn't gangbanging. They passed that now. Guilt by association. That's what most people were at that back then. By the time they was 18, 19, we going on to something more. Now we going into extortion, to robbing, to getting out on our own. And it ain't gangbanging where we done been through the era of being predators.
So when did it become gangbanging?
It's always gangbanging. The more better question is, when did the division and the segregation start? That's what separated. The first 10 years, we were unified, not uniformity.
Yeah.
That means you could still be like Hunchy. I just gave a good example. His cousin is Big Brain. He was from 111, Hunchy just from 8 Trey. But before that, the names, the sets come when we were all just West Side. You still could be family because no barriers had been set.
Yeah.
You could be from wherever. But once they started going into sets, boundaries started getting set. 111. Now I can't go over there. Now it don't went to where we have to protect our community and ourselves. That made it where they couldn't come together because now they don't segregate it to where it's starting to be violence amongst the next generation where they sowing their oats for be it a trade gangster, because the war didn't stop. It started here where it was Crip against blood, blood against Crip. Then it went to little internal stuff to where something happened to where there was a division and a divide. But it also stopped at the family structure because you couldn't go back to the days businessmen and whatever. You still had a family barbecue, the Sunday dinners, and you could say, oh, I'm a businessman, but you ain't shooting and killing each other. You're really more of a group as opposed to a gang.
Yeah.
Gang is when you're doing criminal law. You don't hear the businessmen's being brought up as killing each other. You hear about them having cars, having parties, fighting in the street. But it was a different ball game starting with this. That's what makes this here different. This is a street game based on criminal activity involving violence, not drug dealing, not writing no rap song. It started out where to enter this game, you had to play the game. And it started off with protecting your community and protecting the youth because you got people coming over here shooting.
Mm.
You hear about the deaths up to this day. So to be honest, you got to have shooters to go back. I went through my era of 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever, being a gunner. Protecting myself is what we say. That's the flip side of it. I've only protected myself. And you know, a lot of OGs, which y'all, I don't know what y'all think it mean, but to me it mean opportunity giver, not original gangster. Opportunity giver. They say, Melvin, you got to tell them about the murder. Michael Conception say, Melvin, you got to tell them about the murder. Because they know I can tell you about the murders, but you ain't going to be ready for them. Because a lot of them unsolved. And a lot of them high profile. And it's a lot of them that's their daddies, their mamas, their grandmamas, their sisters' bloodline. You get it?
Mhm.
So when you hear people bragging about murders, they're talking about something they have no part of, because your damn show wouldn't be bragging about a murder unless it's already solved and it's public knowledge, and you ain't bringing up something that's speculation that could get somebody killed, particularly when you're close to the situation. But by the same token, if you're close enough to the problem, that means you're probably close enough to the solution. And to me, my problem and what I'm trying to stop is your child from getting hurt, my child from getting hurt by the people that look like me. Simple. I'm addressing black on black, white on white. Because even if we would come together, you still got other races that will kill you because of the color of your skin. But blacks only kill blacks because of the area I stay in. Oh, I stay in the 80s. Oh, yeah, gangster crap. Oh, I stay in the 60s. Motherfucker, you stay where you can.
Yeah. Stay where you can.
So why should I be penalized for me facing a hardship where I'm just trying to survive?
Yeah.
But I got to hear because I stay on this street and this shit going on with other youths or whatever. It ain't got nothing to do. See, that's another thing out here. Now, some shit Charleston White say that makes sense, but he learned it from the teacher. If you can't sit up here and debate me, that means you're not my equal. That means you're a student. Now, if you think he is, anybody got an invitation to talk about whatever they want, and let's talk about it. That's a fair assessment, isn't it?
Very fair.
Because I hear everybody you say, my name come out a lot of people's mouth. But ain't none of the people who they put on there ever called to ask me. The flip side of it, I wonder why. But I don't want to be on no podcast. I don't want to be interviewed. I don't want a penny from that shit. That's what people don't get. I don't care to tell my story. I believe in writing laws, protecting children, and behind the stage, helping people. You'll never see the things that uh, uh, go on, not just me. Everybody can do uh, things to come back and give back to the community. Because, you know, you really don't want to see nobody child get hurt. So I look at Charleston White as somebody's child that could get hurt. I wouldn't want that to have his mother go through that. But right is right and wrong is wrong.
That's it. That's it. I want to say thank you for being on the channel once again. Thank you for giving us your journalistic situation on the Tupac and going on the journey.
Now,
Are you going back?
yeah, I'm gonna be back just about when Suge go back. And then we're gonna tally up and we're gonna figure out and we're gonna tally it up. Cause now, from what I've heard now, I'm gonna say I don't see how they gonna find him guilty without nobody putting him there. Ain't nothing changed. Other than him, which a lot of people do, give a false narrative or propaganda where uh, he sold his story. He hustled. That's all it is. He told them what they want to hear.
And he got
A
paid.
lot of times, that's all it takes. You tell them what they want to hear, regardless of whether it's truth or not. He just didn't think that it would come back. But next up, we finna go to Lil Durk's funeral. You heard me say funeral because that might be what the fuck finna happen. How about that? So next we finna go. See, that's natural instinct. I said the word funeral. Now, goddamn me, we might be witnessing the funeral. Now you can be mad.
Hopefully not.
But don't be mad at me because it's just a joke. It's also saying that I can make you laugh or I can make you cry. Now, with Lil Durk, I can tell you this. I think it'll be more coverage because the last time I went, the Rolling Stone magazine, these are heavy hitters were there. We're talking about the NBA, and I see they don't change the judge. So you're gonna have a more stricter, more tighter, more professional, and more serious prosecution, the way you'll see the difference between a state case and a federal case where the government has unlimited money because they make it to where it ain't gonna be long and it's gonna be very precise and you won't see a camera. So thank you for having me here. Tap in.